Choosing the right class in Deadly Delivery can completely change the way you play, and that's exactly what we're breaking down in this tier list. Today, we're ranking every class based on its biggest strengths, biggest weaknesses, and overall value, so you can easily figure out which ones are worth unlocking first and which ones are better left for later. We'll also talk about what makes each class stand out, why some perform much better than others, and how they compare in different situations. And if you're wondering how to unlock the classes you don't have yet, don't worry, we'll cover that as well. So, let's jump straight into the tier list and find out which classes truly deserve the top spots. I'm quickly moving on to the video, and I'm ranking classes in Deadly Delivery. Before we start, if you enjoy these types of list videos, don't forget to like the video and subscribe. Enjoy watching. The classes in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Odd Jobber. Odd Jobber feels like the class that keeps insisting, "Trust me, I've got this," even though it shows up with absolutely nothing in its pockets. You do get a nice boost to maximum stamina, speed, and maximum health, with maximum health receiving the biggest increase, so surviving a little longer is definitely easier. The catch is that these stat increases are fairly modest compared to what many other classes can offer, which makes Odd Jobber feel a bit underwhelming once you unlock stronger options. It is not a terrible pick if you just want a straightforward character with balanced stats, but starting every run without a single item means you will need to rely on good looting and smart decisions right from the beginning. In other words, Odd Jobber is dependable enough to get the job done, but it rarely steals the spotlight. The classes in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Chef and Veteran. The Chef is living proof that food really can solve most problems, or at least make them a lot more profitable. This class moves faster even while carrying extra food items, which is a huge advantage when everyone else is slowing to a crawl under the same load. On top of that, every food item you find becomes larger, and bigger food means a higher selling value, letting you earn more from each successful run. The only downside is that outside of the movement speed bonus, Chef does not receive any additional stat improvements, so its strength comes almost entirely from making food deliveries quicker and more rewarding rather than making you stronger in combat. Now, if you would rather solve problems with a shotgun than a frying pan, Veteran is probably more your style. It starts every run with a powerful double-barrel weapon, recovers stamina 30% faster, and even has a chance to earn double loot whenever you defeat enemies. Those perks make early fights much smoother and can snowball into some impressive rewards over time. Still, for a star level 4 class, the overall bonuses are not quite as impressive as you might expect. Veteran is definitely strong and reliable, but it feels like it was just one extra buff away from becoming a top tier powerhouse. The classes in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Baseballer, Sprinter, Subject G, Exterminator, Cupid, SPY, and Gambler. Baseballer is what happens when someone decides that diplomacy is overrated and brings a bat to every conversation. You begin each run with a baseball bat, deal double damage with it, enjoy a massive 40% increase to maximum health, and use 20% less stamina while moving around. All of those bonuses combine to create a class that loves getting up close and personal with enemies. The only real downside is that nearly everything about Baseballer revolves around combat, so if your focus is gathering loot or supporting the team, its toolkit feels a bit limited. If speed is your favorite stat, Sprinter is going to feel right at home. It starts with a Bloxy Cola, gains a 10% speed increase, doubles its maximum stamina, and even reduces stamina consumption by 15%. That combination lets you run longer, move faster, and recover from dangerous situations much more easily than most classes. The downside is that nearly every advantage revolves around mobility, so outside of being incredibly quick, Sprinter does not bring many extra tricks to the table. Subject G is one of those classes that sounds strange at first, but becomes surprisingly useful in the right situation. It extends the duration of each level, increases the chance for shadowed affixes to appear, and even freezes time for an additional 10 seconds when the effect activates. Having more time to explore and complete objectives can completely change the pace of a run. That said, these benefits depend heavily on the situation, so Subject G can sometimes feel amazing and other times barely noticeable. Exterminator is basically the game's official answer to the question, what if everything was on fire? Whenever you ignite enemies, they always drop heated affix items. Dealing fire damage also gives you a speed boost, and the flamethrower carries twice as much fuel as normal. If you enjoy burning through groups of enemies, this class is incredibly satisfying to play. The downside is that almost every bonus depends on using the flamethrower, making the class far less impressive whenever that weapon is not part of your strategy. Cupid proves that arrows are not just for fighting. You can shoot enemies to freeze them in place and weaken them, fire arrows at teammates to increase their speed and restore their health, and even transform food items with your bow. That gives Cupid an impressive mix of crowd control, support, and utility that very few classes can match. The catch is that everything depends on Cupid's bow, and every single arrow costs coins, so careless shooting can become surprisingly expensive. SPY brings one of the most unique utility kits in the entire game. Its briefcase can instantly send food back to the elevator, saving valuable time, and it can even teleport teammates directly to the elevator whenever needed. Those abilities are fantastic for keeping deliveries efficient and reducing unnecessary travel. Outside of the briefcase, however, the class does not offer many additional perks, although the briefcase alone is valuable enough to make SPY a consistently strong pick. Then there is Gambler, the class that believes luck is a perfectly reasonable strategy. It unlocks the lucky coin, increases the number of lucky tokens earned by the entire team, and extends the duration of team-wide buffs, making everyone benefit for longer. In coordinated groups, those bonuses can create some incredibly rewarding runs with much stronger overall momentum. The only drawback is that Gambler puts a huge emphasis on lucky tokens, so its value drops if your team is not taking full advantage of that system. The classes in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Veterinarian, Porter, Psionic, Health Inspector, Escape Artist Nora, Miner, and Madness. Veterinarian earns its spot at the very top without breaking a sweat because every great team needs someone who can keep everyone alive. It begins each run with a bandage, can upgrade every bandage found throughout the map, finds revival syringes and bandages far more often than other classes, and even restores its own health over time. That combination makes recovering from mistakes much easier and keeps the whole squad moving instead of constantly scrambling to survive. At the moment, there really are no meaningful downsides, which is exactly why Veterinarian deserves to sit comfortably in the S tier. Porter might not look flashy at first, but after a few deliveries, you will wonder how you ever played without it. It immediately starts with a larger backpack, giving you one extra inventory slot, and its movement speed never drops while carrying large food items. Better yet, Porter can carry 2 large food items at the same time, making deliveries dramatically faster and far more efficient. The only drawback is starting without any items, but honestly, that is a tiny price to pay for such incredible utility throughout an entire match. Psionic is one of those classes that quietly becomes stronger the more you play it. It can knock enemies away with a powerful shockwave, interact with objects from 3 times the normal distance, and reduces stamina consumption by 30%, making exploration feel incredibly smooth. The only trade-off is that interacting with objects outside the normal range costs 10 stamina each time. Even with that cost, the extra reach and mobility are valuable enough to make Psionic one of the strongest all-around choices in the game. Health Inspector is the teammate everyone appreciates the moment things start going wrong. It can revive teammates without using a revival syringe, gains a 17% speed boost for 15 seconds after every successful revival, can always see the outlines of downed teammates, and loses sanity 50% more slowly. Those abilities make rescuing allies faster, safer, and far more consistent. It is definitely a support-focused class, but if your team values cooperation, Health Inspector is easily one of the most impactful picks available. Escape Artist, also known as Nora, is all about refusing to stay down for long. It increases stamina regeneration by 10%, grants 1 free revival every run, and boosts your movement speed by 50% whenever adrenaline kicks in. Escaping dangerous situations and covering huge distances becomes much easier with these bonuses, giving you plenty of opportunities to recover from mistakes. Its only weakness is that most of its strengths shine while moving around the map rather than during direct encounters with enemies. Miner is the definition of a self-sufficient powerhouse. It doubles both stamina regeneration and maximum health, making it incredibly durable while also letting you stay active much longer. On top of that, Miner has a much higher chance of finding gold quality food and valuable gold bars, giving you access to some excellent rewards throughout a run. Most of these benefits are personal rather than team-wide, but when a class is this strong on its own, that is hardly enough to keep it out of the S tier. Madness is easily one of the most exciting and versatile classes in Deadly Delivery. It starts with the V-Extract Syringe, allowing you to freely switch between the restrained and unleashed forms whenever the situation calls for it. Restrained form boosts movement speed, gradually restores health, and eventually highlights nearby items once its passive unlocks, while Unleashed keeps all of those benefits and adds powerful damage and attack speed bonuses on top. The only thing you have to manage carefully is that Unleashed slowly drains your health, but if you know when to switch forms, Madness becomes an absolute monster from start to finish. The video ends here. See you in another video. Don't forget to subscribe.